I just hear or some people say that if you work a lot, then you're actually... Great, let's get started here, huh? Welcome to the May 2022 results meeting. Let's again introduce Antonia and welcome her to the team here. So it's great getting to know her, but let's talk about May, all right? So what do we end up with, you guys know?
397? 390 something.
I did a little bit of calculations, and there were some policies that people were maybe saving that wanted to count for this month, last month, so we actually ended up with 400,000.
Oh, wow.
400,000 on the dot.
That was the goal.
Yeah, that was the goal. Yeah, that's always been our, not always, but that was our most recent goal. So it's our best month by far because last month we finished with 350. So we went up 50,000 in just 1 month. And then when we go back to last year, I'm not sure if you guys saw the stats that I sent out yesterday, that was at like 250 something. Mm-hmm. So in just one short year, to have that big of a difference is something that's really encouraging to me because, years in the past, no matter what, whatever we do, time is not going to stop. So next year we're going to be in a situation, it's going to be very exciting to see where we're going to be next year because every time I say okay, we got to 200 and then we're like 300 and people are like, yeah, right.
Yeah, we always say that. when we first reached 100.
You still remember?
That was a big deal.
That was 2017. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was 5 years ago. We were at the old office. Yeah, Blanca, you were there. We reached 100,000 for the first time, right before we moved to this office. So when we moved to this office, we were just doing 100. That was our goal still.
How much? 100?
Just 100.
Wow.
And now we were at 100,000 a week. And thanks for bringing that up, Blanca. I think I have here that agent a month, Laura was averaging like 28,000.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at it. We're at 400,000 now, right? So that's awesome. And then 2017 we're at 100K. So one way of looking at it is we could look back and say, wow, we came a long ways, and we really have. I could go all the way back to 2007 when I first started by myself, trying to write 10K a month by myself. So we could look back and say, hey, we did a great job, we're here. And a lot of businesses and individuals also have this situation where they eventually reach a point where they're gonna get satisfied. And they get very happy, they get very kind of full of themselves, and we have a lot of, we have the right to be proud of ourselves. But that's not us. And lucky for me, you guys, honestly, because I think businesses depend on the leader of what direction they go to, because if I was happy here, then everybody's income is gonna be staying the same too. Okay, so the way I look at it is well, if you got to here in 5 years, then what's going to keep happening this way, So instead of being, I'm still prideful here, I'm more excited about here. Because in 5 years, because I'm going to say it right now, next year around this time, we're going to be in a double the size of the office, we're going to be hitting 500,000. And I've done this so many times before where people are like, yeah, right, or rolling their eyes. But I really have no doubts in my mind because on the motivation level we have as a team, the experience that we have, and the expertise that we have, the way we leverage technology, the way we work as a team, there's just really no reason that we could be stopped. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to next year and beyond, but for now, I just really want to recognize ourselves and really appreciate you guys for helping us get to 400,000, which is a big goal of ours. So let's give it up for ourselves again. All right, so we're going to get into some of the awards that I want to recognize. So for the most hours worked, it was a great attendance month. And for us to be able to reach our best month ever, it's no surprise that we have to have great attendance because usually those are the months that we really kick butt. So we had really good attendance with 5 agents over 95%. Diana, Linda, Jaylene, Jason, all high 90s. And then the most hours goes to America though at 100%. So let's get up for America. And I have to recognize America one more time because she also had the most payments at 97 payments. Well, actually, it was, I think, 103. Yeah, 103. So she took the most payments. So again, if you're here all the time, if you're working on your list and answering phone calls all the time with activity and dependability, that's something that I really value. So let's get up for America again. All right, so we have 5 agents that had their best month ever.
That's good.
Yeah. Who had their best month ever?
America, Laura,
Mm-hmm.
Diana, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Diana, Jess?
No.
Jess? No.
No.
Javier?
No.
Jess has hit 70 before?
Yeah,
Me and
75 was her best.
Oh wow.
Kelly has hit 50 one time, so it's very close to that. We got somebody in this room who had her best month ever.
Javier?
Huh?
Carrie.
Carrie. Carrie. Okay. Still your best month ever. Okay, let's get it for Carrie for hitting 6,000. Let's get it for her. Okay. America had 12,000 too. That's her first month ever. So those are kind of easier ones, but still it's the best month ever because I don't just ever want to take it for granted that everybody gets it better and better. You know, usually it's easier in the beginning, but they're definitely going in the right direction. Jaylene with 36,000. Okay, this is her second month in a row, her best month ever. So she's hitting new levels 2 months in a row. 36,000 is a pretty big number, to be honest with you, for somebody who came from humble beginnings. Like if you look at last year around this time, I forgot what it was, like 7 or 6 or 5,000 or something like that, because she just got her license. You know, so in 1 year to have that big jump, that's really encouraging to see. And then Diana. Okay, so Diana at 39,000. So that's also a very similar situation with Jaylene. She actually got her license a little after her. So I'm not even sure she had any sales in May. But in 1 short year to make it up to 39,000, on the verge of hitting 40,000, both of them. These are great things that I love seeing. It just makes my hard work feel like it's worth it when I see people doing well, accepting the training, accepting the motivation, and that's what I'm here for, to try to help you guys, make more money. And when I see my hard work paying off and by them doing the job, it just really makes me happy and fulfilled. So let's give it up for Jaylene and Diana, and for everybody else too. All right, and Laura did have her best month ever, but we'll save that one, okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, huge month. So Kalia, she had her second best month ever at 49,000. She had the most hours on the phone for her at 39 and a half hours. And then she had the highest closing ratio at 32%. Incredible closing ratio there for her. So let's get up for Kalia for having an incredible month. And then Jazz at 70,000, second place. This is her third time ever hitting 70,000. She had the most hours on the phone at 45 hours. I mean, who goes to Cabo and still makes $8,500 in commission in 1 month? Yeah, right? She did get a little bonus for hitting 400,000. I had a little bonus for Laura and Jazz, so that helped her out there. And then she also makes hourly pay, so made $11,000 total in 1 month. Divide that to how many hours she worked. That's $73 per hour. Highest closing ratio also goes to Jasmine. So just somebody who just always is consistent and then goes on break but comes back ready, and just really happy to see her have that family time and enjoy the family time. It's been a tough year for the family, so just someone I'm really happy to see is happy. So let's get up for Jasmine for having another incredible month. And then we got our agent of the month again, Laura. Some of the things that really helped her out was selling 9 business policies and 4 life policies. She made the most phone calls, 1,030. This is her best month ever, again, for 2 months in a row for her too. So talk about somebody who doesn't get to this level and looks back at the past and say, hey, I came a long ways, I'm very happy. Someone who still wants to go higher and higher, someone who stays hungry. 94,000, okay, this is her first month in the 90s. I feel like she's on the verge to hit 100,000 in 1 month for one agent, when back in the days, we had 5 agents trying to get there. So she got a little bonus too for having a team goal. So she made $10,900. Add that to her hourly, $13,000 she made. Divided by how many hours she worked, it's $89 per hour. So just big numbers here I'm really proud of. I mean, I can't say enough about Laura, but just someone who just stays hungry, and somebody who doesn't settle, and somebody who I can really relate to, because I feel the exact same way. Like no matter where we're at, I'm very happy, I'm very happy, but at the same time it's kind of weird because I'm very unsatisfied. And people could say that's a contradiction, but to me I don't think it is, because I feel like you could still be grateful, which is the happy part, but then you could still be ambitious. It's not the opposite. You know, I'm grateful, but I'm still very ambitious. And that's kind of the way I look at things very often. I'm happily unsatisfied, and I feel Laura is the same way. So let's get up for Laura. So yeah, I keep saying that every month. I just feel that that's just my default. You know, every time I finish the month, I'm happy, but I'm just like not satisfied. And I just want to share with you guys that concept because some people are the opposite. You know, they're unhappy, but they're satisfied. Meaning that they're always complaining, you know, it's not fair, or the government, or whatever. It's just like complaining about things, but then the way they're acting is completely satisfied. You know, they're not working hard, or they're not learning, or they're just partying. It's like as if they have $1 million in the bank, you know? It's like, well, you're acting like you're satisfied, but you're unhappy. So me, I go the opposite way where I'm happy, I'm very grateful. Kids are healthy, I'm healthy, parents are healthy. Nothing to complain about, really. I mean, you know, great team here, you know, great business. You know, I feel like I live in a free country. There's a lot of good things to be grateful for, but at the same time, it's just weird. I'm glad I have both, because if I was too motivated and unsatisfied, it kind of makes me into a bad person, or and not a bad, but like an unhappy person, or like stressed out person. So I don't want to go that direction too much too. So it's important to balance both out. But that's kind of what I want to share with you guys is, you know, the concept of being happy, but also unsatisfied at the same time. Yeah, today I just want to share with you guys, you know, what is going to keep us motivated. Anybody want to add some things that you guys could share with us about, you know, any tips or things that might help you guys stay motivated? Because, you know, sometimes we come to work every day, it's a whole new month, it's like, okay, we start over again. So consistency and staying motivated is really important. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. Anybody have like any tips, you know, besides coffee?
Setting goals.
Goals, setting goals?
I always have unrealistic goals, to be honest, but it's like at least I get closer to them, you know?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, Dan, we're gonna get 4,000 a day, you know, and then you know, or just something crazy like that.
Yeah, that's really good, Blanca, to have big goals like that. I think one of the things about unrealistic goals is that it kind of makes you use your imagination, and it kind of makes you more excited about it. You know, because if you have realistic goals, which are important too, sometimes you're like, oh, if I get that, that'd be nice, but it's not worth going all out for. You know, so if you're like, oh, if I hit that number, then that'd be really awesome. You know, so you need goals to get excited about. So Blanca, that's a really good one. But I want to just share with you guys, okay, how important staying motivated is. Because, you know, everything's fine. I could say everything is fine. We don't have to move. You know, I could just be here and have this team here, and still, you know, everybody could still make more money, and we could still, you know, I don't need another car, or like I don't need like anything, like I don't really need anything really. I feel like I have a schedule, I'm able to work out, I have a good balance, and then I just don't need to, like, why would I go through all the stress of, you know, basically trying to double the size of our agency, you know, stretching my rent up to $20,000 per month. And then, you know, thinking about all the training I have to go through, and all the hiring I have to go through, and then all the leads I have to buy, and like all this, like, it's kind of like stressful if I think about it. Like, why would I put myself through this when everything is just fine? Like, it's just kind of like seems like maybe a risky to me. But to me, I feel like being motivated is so important, because you just need another thing to chase for. And I think when you have that, it just keeps you more excited about the future. Honestly, I think it keeps you young, because you're just always excited about what's going to happen. And I've had people, you know, friends that made money through real estate or something like that when they don't have anything to do, or they don't have the next goal. Even with money, they're just not as fulfilled and not as happy, or frankly, they don't look as good, because they're just not as motivated, and they're just not excited about what's to come. So staying motivated is really just a blessing in life. It just keeps you just happy, it keeps you young, it keeps you, you know, waking up and then optimistic, and then it gives you a purpose. And I think we all need that to, it's all part of, like, you know, being happy, okay? So just want to share with you guys some of the things that helps me stay motivated. And just want to maybe ask you guys, you know, the motivation, what helps you guys keep motivated? And I think one of the important things about motivation, that it changes all the time. And it's okay for it to change all the time. For example, like, I was really motivated because my mom used to buy me Jordans all the time. And I went to college, she was like, I'm not buying any more Jordans. You know, you finish high school basketball, you know, that was for basketball, you needed it, and I helped you, but I don't have to buy you top-of-the-line Jordans anymore. So I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So I got a job at a shoe store selling sneakers. Okay. Then it was like, okay, well, I kind of figured like, well, to get girls, I have to have some type of money. Okay, so it was about that, and then there was a time where I just really needed to get that G35. It was like I had to get that car. These are like different motivations that I had throughout my life. Anybody could share any like past motivations you had?
For me to get my first car.
There you go. You want a sense of freedom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hated to be picked up from work or anything else.
Yeah.
And
But
it was not long ago that I got my first car.
oh really?
Yeah.
How'd you get it?
Working.
Working, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I bet that got you jump started with your work ethic.
Yeah, I started working on my credit and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get my first car.
So it's really important for us to understand, to be able to kind of look into what's going to keep us motivated. It's almost like a research on yourself. Like you really have to figure out what's going to motivate you because you need that. You just can't be coming up to work and being like, oh, nothing's going to change. This is how it is. You kind of need something. So to be able to find your motivation, you really have to really understand yourselves. Anybody else have like maybe current or previous motivation? Like what's a current motivation you guys may have?
I want to get a house. Yeah,
There you go.
me too. So that's my motivation.
There you go. Yeah, just like Blanca said, you need a big goal. That's a big one because if you have that goal, then you're going to put you into, you're gonna act accordingly. Yeah, that requires you to save, that requires you to make more money, this requires you to get your license, that requires you to, be productive and have good energy and discipline, just everything, responsibility. And so those are great goals to have. And that's a big one that a lot of people should have. And it's a challenging one, but we have people here who have done it. And it's just something that I really strongly encourage for everybody to have as a goal. Anything else? Anybody else?
I pay my debt.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's so important to be aware of that. Because honestly, I feel like a lot of people out there, they don't even know what motivates them. They're just going through the motion. They're just like, okay, I'm just going to go to work because that's what I'm supposed to do. But there's nothing really inside of them that's driving them. And maybe there is, but they don't even realize it or recognize it or address it. And they're not giving it their best and they're not reaching their full potential because they don't know. So I want you guys to know, at least ask yourself, like, what's going to motivate me? And no one's going to judge you off that. And it could change anyways. Like mine were stupid stuff before. Like I wanted this award from farmers. Like, it doesn't really change anything, but at least I got it. And then I'm like, okay, now what's next? So whatever you guys' situation is at life right now, figure out what motivates you. And I'm just going to share with you guys what's motivating me right now. And is to be able to tell my kids, okay, you can be whatever you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be, buddy, is what I want to tell them. I don't know how you guys will say it. If you guys have, well, I don't know if you guys have girls, but if you guys say, you could be whatever you want to be, sweetheart, or I don't know, maybe you guys will say, like, you could be whatever you want, mijo, whatever, however you guys want to say it. But I'm not able to say that if they're looking back at me and they're thinking, well, how come you aren't then? I don't want them to be like, well, why are you not reaching your full potential? How come you're not going after it? Like you say, if I work hard, have a good attitude, I could do whatever I want. I don't want them to be looking at me like, well, you're not really doing anything. You're not really going after it. And that would be a terrible feeling for me. Like, I feel like when we go to like recitals or when they're singing or they're playing sports games and I'm watching the kids, have you guys ever noticed that you're only watching yours only?
Yeah.
None of the kids, like, they're like invisible to you. And it's crazy if you think about it, the kids watch us the same way. All these people in the whole world, and then they only care about what you're doing. And a lot of times, what we teach them, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And they're looking at us, and then they're figuring us out. And there's gonna reach a certain age point where once you get to a certain age, usually in adulthood, you figure out who your parents really are. Really understand them, oh, they're like that, okay, that's what they were winners, they really cared about me, all these things, it's gonna finally make sense to them. I don't know, but to me, that happened to me. So I just want them to understand that, hey, I feel like it's my obligation. And I honestly feel like if I'm not doing that, it's a form of like a neglect. I know neglect is a very strong word, I looked it up. It's fail to care for properly, state of being or being uncared for. I would feel like I would be neglecting my kids if I didn't teach them this lesson or I didn't show them this lesson. Like I honestly feel like, and this is something as all parents, we should tell our kids that, hey, you can do whatever you want, but if you're not telling them that, that's bad. But if you're not showing them that, that's also bad too. So I want to do my part as a parent, and that's my motivation, is to be able to say that to them. Is that you can really do whatever you want, okay? And then the crazy part where I really conflicted with this, just from up to pretty recently, is that, hey, I just hear, or some people say that if you work a lot, then you're actually not being a good parent. Or if we spend a lot of time in the gym, okay, well, taken away from my kids. But I just figured, hey, just from true trial and error, that if I'm just doing really well at work, if I'm getting leads, I come up with this marketing campaign and I spend hours writing out the script and making the video, and it's hitting. It's really doing well, and we're selling. Or if I'm training somebody and they're new and then they're getting it and then they're doing better. If the business is going well and I'm absolutely killing it financially, I honestly feel like it makes me a better parent. Because it just puts me in a higher spirit. Even with gym too, if I'm eating healthy and if I'm doing well, exercising and stuff like that, it just makes me into a better parent because my energy level is different. And maybe it's because the extent of how much I love myself is increasing, so I have more capacity to give out the love to my kids. So I just want you guys to understand that, people say, hey, if you're working too much, you're neglecting your kids. I think it's the opposite. If you're chasing your dreams and going after it, you're teaching them the best thing to teach them. And in a way, you're showing them how to take care of yourself, how to be happy. And by, going after it and being really good at your job, because I can't sit here and say, hey, you can be whatever you want to be. And then they're looking back at me and say, hey, you're not even good at your own job. So I don't want to be at that situation. So I really want to, kind of walk the talk, if you could say. So yeah, it's all about the kids for me right now, and for you guys, my motivation level. And then maybe if some of you guys are like, well, what if I don't have kids, right? I think it also goes the same way where you could learn a lot from your kids, right? So can your parents. So can your family. I don't care, your uncle. Your nieces, your nephews, if you're just winning in life, I think sometimes with families, there's just different situations you could be in that maybe your family didn't have a history of having somebody that is a true winner. And I think if you show them, and because your parents, they really want you just to be happy. So if you're happy, showing them that you're happy, and then the way you're acting and what you do really does influence families. And then a lot of times you just need that one person in the family, because if there's a successful family, there's a lot of times if you look back at their ancestors, there's a lot of times they weren't successful. And one person came along and changed the whole family around. Usually it's really successful families like that. And then from that person on, it just became a better trajectory for their whole lineage. Okay, so we still have the opportunity to do that. Okay, I would say most of our parents came from somewhere, took a chance to come to this country. I mean, what were the reasons they came here? Better life. Better future, right? They made a sacrifice, I'll feel really uncomfortable if I had to go to China and just didn't know the language and I had to start out all over again. And it'd be really challenging. The sacrifices they went through, it's like our obligation to take advantage of it. And it's a little unfortunate when they have this opportunity to be in this country, this opportunity, they don't take advantage of it or actually even shit on the opportunity. It's kind of unfortunate, but eventually there's going to be someone that stands out in that family, I believe, as long as they're, someone's going to stand out. Okay, so it could be in many different ways. If you're taking care of your health, if you're really healthy, that's going to rub off to your parents too. That's going to rub off to your family, that's going to rub off to your siblings. So even if you don't have kids, you can still do whatever you can to let them know that, hey, I'm working hard, I have the right attitude, taking care of my health, and then that's going to rub off to other people. And that's just a great way I feel that we could do to honor our parents. I don't know, just family is a big thing for me right now, is because I'm trying to figure out what's going to motivate me right now. Maybe it's my kids' age, maybe it's my parents' age as they get older, but I just want them to be proud. I just want them to be happy. And I've been through all these different motivational levels, all the way through different levels, different things, but I could just share with you guys right now that this one that I'm on right now for family's future, there's no motivation stronger than that for me right now. So I hope you guys could relate to that. because I know many of us are very family oriented, and I just want you guys to take it to the next level with and figure out what motivates you. Everyone's different, but search amongst yourself. Hey, I want to be healthy for my family. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to be able to see my grandkids. Think long term, and show them that you're not a mediocre person. You're not working at a mediocre place. We're all here to win, and I think there's nothing better we could do for our families than that. All right. All right. Thank you guys.